On April 14, 2019, Finland will elect the 200 representatives to the Parliament of Finland. Today, Europe Elects is proud to introduce the main parties running for this election. It's important to note that Finland is a relatively new nation with only 100 years of independence from Russian control. Also, at least 5% of the population speak Swedish as their main language. The Centre Party of Finland. Although this party identifies with policies that focus on agrarianism and decentralization of power, it's also considered a big tent party, grouping a bigger social conservative base with a minor social liberal faction. The majority faction supports EU integration, while a significant minority advocates for soft Euroscepticism. The Centre Party was founded in 1906 as the Agrarian League, which was a strong supporter of independence from Russia and also against the idea of a German monarchy ruling Finland. In 1918, after the fall of both the Russian and German empires, the idea of republicanism began to be accepted by most Finns, and the agrarians, being the only centrist Republicans, became the second largest party in the 1919 elections, participating in many governments since then. In 1965, they officially changed their name to the Centre Party of Finland. Juha Sipilä, the current Prime Minister of Finland, leads the Centre Party and is seeking a second term. He's a 57-year-old former captain of the Finnish Defence Forces with a master's degree in technology. He worked at Solitra Oy before becoming the CEO and owner of that company. He sold it to ADC Communications in 1996 and became a multi-millionaire. He then founded his own company, Fortel Invest Oy, in 1998 and was the CEO of Electrobit Oy from 2002 until 2005. He became an MP in 2011 and party leader in 2012, the same year he was elected to the Kempele City Council. He became Prime Minister following the 2015 elections. The Centre Party is currently the largest party in government with the National Coalition Party and the National Conservative Blue Reform. It entered the European Parliament after the first elections of 1996, where it joined the European Liberal Democrats and Reformist group, which would later become ALDE. The Finns Party. The Finns is a party that advocates for progressive taxation and a welfare state applied only to Finnish nationals. They strongly support socially conservative views like opposition to same-sex marriage and adoption by same-sex couples, as well as opposition to international environmental agreements like the Paris Accord. They're strong opponents of the EU and NATO, as well as EU migration quotas. The Finns Party is considered the de facto successor of the Finnish Rural Party, which split from the Agrarian League in 1959 after one of its MPs, Veikko Vennamo, was expelled from their parliamentary group for criticizing party leadership. The party had moderate success in the following years, helping form the government twice. They began to decline in the 80s until they lost almost all of their support in 1995. Timo Soini and Raimo Vistbacka, two high-ranking members of the Rural Party, then launched the True Finns Party, which managed to grow in popularity over the years, becoming the second largest party in the 2015 national election. The Finns used to be the third largest group in parliament, but after conflict with the government coalition, it split, with the Finns joining in opposition, while their dissidents formed Blue Reform and remained in government. They first entered the European Parliament in 2009 and joined the Europe of Freedom and Democracy group, the former iteration of the current Europe of Freedom and Direct Democracy group. However, they left to join the European Conservatives and Reformists after the European elections. The National Coalition Party. The National Coalition Party, often referred to as Kokoomus, is a center-right liberal conservative party that prides itself on advocating for individual liberties. The party is considered more liberal than other center-right parties in the EU, since they also promote pro-LGBTQ policies, freedom of movement, a smaller welfare state financed by progressive taxation than those proposed by left-wing parties, and a strong pro-EU sentiment. The National Coalition Party was born in 1918 in the union of two conservative pro-German monarchy movements, the Finnish Party and the Young Finnish Party. Their wish for German rule failed, but the party remained as the country's main conservative movement. They first entered government in 1917, exchanging the position of prime minister with other center-right parties. They formed an electoral alliance in 1933 with the ultranationalist Patriotic People's Movement, but broke all ties in 1934. Greater changes would come around 1951, when the party largely abandoned conservatism in favor of classical liberalism. Petteri Orpo is the National Coalition's leader. A 49-year-old political scientist, he first entered politics as a councilman from Turku in 1996 until 2007, when he was elected as an MP and then elected as a representative for Southwest Finland's regional parliament. He then became president of the region, serving from 2012 to 2014. He was subsequently Minister of Agriculture and Forestry in 2014 until 2015, Minister of the Interior from 2015 until 2016, and is now the current Minister of Finance. The party is currently the second biggest partner in government, with the Centre Party and Blue Reform. On the European level, they've been a member of the European People's Party group since 1996. The Social Democratic Party of Finland. The Social Democratic Party is the biggest opposition party in the current parliament. They are a center-left, socially liberal party who believe in a strong welfare state funded through progressive taxation. They oppose NATO, but are strong supporters of the EU. They support the rights of LGBTQ people and are skeptical of non-EU workers being able to access Finnish labor benefits. They are also the party with the closest ties to the Finnish trade unions. Founded in 1899, the Social Democratic Party is the oldest party in Finland. It was born as the Finnish Labour Party before changing its name to the Social Democratic Party in 1903. They won the first Finnish election in 1907, with their main goal being turning Finland into an independent republic. After winning the Civil War, the attempts of the more radical wing of the party to turn Finland into a socialist republic were thwarted, and some of its leaders were imprisoned or exiled to the USSR. In 1918, leader Väinö Tanner reformed the party and won by a large margin again. Later on, the party would become a frequent coalition partner and the main builder of the Finnish welfare state together with the Centre Party. Antti Rinne is the leader of the Social Democratic Party. He's a 56-year-old former trade union leader and was elected the party leader in 2014. Rinne acted as Minister of Finance in the previous government from 2014 to 2015. The Social Democratic Party is the largest opposition group to the current government. Ever since they joined the European Parliament in 1996, they've been members of the S&D group. The Green League. The Green League is the main proponent of green politics, pro-LGBTQ and feminist policies, and universal basic income in Finland. Although the party describes itself as a centrist party, many members describe the party as broadly center-left. The party is a strong supporter of EU integration. The Green League was born as a protest movement that united green activists, feminists, and former supporters of the Liberal People's Party, among others, in the early 1980s. They would get their first MPs elected before becoming a party in 1983. The party was formalized in 1987 and would continue to grow in support. In 1995, they entered government for the first time. The party is led by Pekka Haavisto. He's 60 years old and was a social sciences student, but never graduated. He was elected MP from 1987 until 1995, when he became Minister of the Environment until 1999, and was also leader of the Green League from 1993 until 1995. He then went on to work with the UN on environmental and nuclear non-proliferation issues. He returned to politics in 2007 as an MP, where he's been re-elected ever since. He was also Minister of International Development from 2013 until 2014. The Green League sits in opposition to the government. In the European Parliament, they joined the Green Group, which later became the Greens' European Free Alliance Group. Left Alliance. The Left Alliance has traditionally emphasized taking care of the Finnish welfare state, staunchly socially liberal policies, an environmentally sustainable economy, equality, and social liberties in general. Specific election themes revolved around moving towards universal basic income, free healthcare for everyone, and supporting small-scale entrepreneurs and companies vowing to fight climate change. The party was born in 1990 as a merger of three leftist movements: the Finnish Women's Democratic League, the now practically non-existent Communist Party of Finland, and the Finnish People's Democratic League. once the country's largest leftist movement, born in 1944 by former Social Democratic Party members as a result of the anti-communist shift. In the merger, the Left Alliance disavowed the old Soviet-style Marxism-Leninism some of its constituent parties had earlier advocated for. The Left Alliance is led by Li Andersson. She's 31 years old and a political scientist specializing in international law. She's worked as a volunteer in Finland's Svenska Skolungdomsförbund, an organization meant to help and promote the Swedish-speaking community. She's also been a councilwoman for Turku since 2012 and an MP since 2015. She was elected party leader in 2011. The party currently sits in opposition to the government. In the European Parliament, they were one of the founding parties of the Nordic Green Left Alliance, which would later join with the European United Left to form the current GUE-NGL group. Swedish People's Party of Finland. This is a socially liberal centrist party which focuses on the interests of the Swedish-speaking population of Finland. The party's predecessor was the Swedish Party, a social conservative party that opposed the banning of the Swedish language from Finland. Once independence was established, they became the Swedish People's Party and over the years became more socially liberal and a crucial partner to governments from 1975 until 2015. The party is led by Anna-Maja Henriksson, a 55-year-old Master of Law with court training who was elected chairman in 2016. She's been a member of the Pietarsaari City Council since 1996 and an MP since 2007. She's also been the Minister of Justice in 2 consecutive governments from 2011 until 2015. Ever since the Åland constituency was created, the Åland MP sits with the Swedish People's Party. They have been in opposition since 2015, and in the first European elections of 1996, the party joined the ELDR, which would later become the ALDE. Christian Democrats. Christian Democrats is a center-right party that seeks to preserve a social conservative society in Finland away from the socially liberal policies implemented since the 50s. They also believe in a social, market-driven economy. The party was born in 1958 as the Finnish Christian League, after a conservative faction of the National Coalition felt that the party was not doing enough to defend their traditional Christian values. The party wouldn't change its name until 2001, and while they entered parliament in the 1970 elections, they wouldn't enter government until 1991. Sari Essayah is the Christian Democrats' leader. She's 52 years old and she has a master's degree in economic sciences, although she's better known as a professional race walker, for which she has won the World Championships of 1993 and the European Championships of 1994. She retired in 1997 to work as an auditor in PwC until 2003 when she entered politics as a Christian Democrat, winning a seat in Parliament until 2007 when she lost re-election. She would later be elected MEP in 2009, but failed to secure her seat again in 2014. She also ran an unsuccessful presidential race in 2012, where she got last place. The party stands in opposition to the current government. Even though it has no representation in the European Parliament, it's a formal member of the transnational European People's Party. Blue Reform is a national conservative party that advocates for economic liberalism and soft Euroscepticism. They are the smallest party in the current government. The party was born in 2017 after the Finns became an opposition party. Back then, moderate members led by Sampo Terho left the Finns party to remain in the government coalition. Blue Reform is led by their founder, Sampo Terho, a 41-year-old historian. In 2005, he was named Peacekeeper of the EUFOR, European Union Force, in Bosnia and Herzegovina until 2008. He ran in the 2009 European elections but was not elected. However, he became an MEP when party leader and then MEP Timo Soini was elected MP in the national parliament in 2011. He was re-elected as an MEP in 2014, but resigned when he was elected MP in the national parliament in 2015. In 2017, he was elected to the Helsinki City Council and was named Minister of European Affairs, Culture and Sports. The party is the smallest member of the current government coalition. They have no representation in the European Parliament. However, they are members of the Alliance of Conservatives and Reformists of Europe, the European party associated with the National Conservative ECR parliamentary group.